Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, as you can see, I am going to be doing a day in the life video. Now this is not an everyday thing. Some things do change. This day was just a particular busy one for me, so I decided to go ahead and share it with you guys. So the first thing that I do is after I get up every morning at 6:30. The first thing I do is I go ahead and head into the bathroom, do my hygiene thing, and I go ahead and start brushing my teeth for about a minute or so. Then I go ahead and wash my face off really quickly. And then it's time for me to go ahead and wake up my son. Now it's usually already by like 6:45 and it is such a pain waking him up. I hate waking him up. It's so sad to me. I just want to let him sleep. But it's, time for him to get up and get ready to go ahead and get to school. So after about 5 minutes of trying to wake him up, I finally get him up, and this is something we do every single morning. I sit him on top of the counter. I give him a few cuddles, get him to wake up a bit, and then I go ahead and I start washing his teeth, brushing his teeth, and then I go ahead and wash his face off, and I start wetting his hair a bit so that he can wake up. And since he does have long hair, it does take me a minute to get his hair styled. Because he doesn't like me wetting his hair, so I just have to wet it a little bit and then go ahead and try to get it styled as best as I can. I'm so sorry guys if you guys can barely see what I'm doing. I don't have a tripod just yet that can hold up my camera, my phone really well. But I promise you guys that in my next video that I show like this, it will look a whole lot better. So finally there I am, brushing his teeth off, washing his face off. And he is dressed and ready to go. Excuse my mess on my sofa. It was a few things that I had to pick up. So after we get downstairs, he will watch something on the TV. He'll watch Tom or Ryan or anything like that. And I get him his cereal. His cereal varies. He's not really a big eater as soon as he wakes up, but I like to give him some cereal before he goes to school, even though he's only there for 3 hours out of the day. I like for him to go with at least something in his stomach so he won't be that hungry, when it's time to go ahead and pick him up. And the day before he didn't go to school because he wasn't feeling too well. So I had completely forgotten to write the note. So that is what I'm doing right now. Just writing a quick note for the teacher explaining that he had a stomach ache and that his head was hurting. So he stayed home to rest. So finally he has finished his breakfast and he is still watching the show. And I am just getting his shoes on because by this time it is already 7:20 in the morning. And we do go ahead and walk every morning to school so that we both can get in some type of exercise and won't be so tired throughout the day. So I go ahead and I fix his shoes. I like to stick in his the strings of his shoes after they're tied so that he won't have them come out and his shoes untie and he'll trip or anything. And then we take our 15-minute walk to school. And then the hardest part is leaving him. He was having a rough day there. He was crying. He did not want me to leave, but he knows that he has to stay there and learn. So finally, after I come back home, I like to take a little me time, have some breakfast, and yes, I will sit down and play. I am currently playing on the Xbox 360 there because the Xbox One is upstairs. So after I have my little me time, it is already about 9:45ish. I usually take out my dog when he asks me to. Sometimes he doesn't want to get up, but we have to force him, so he can go and do his thing. So here he did beg me to go outside, so I'm taking him for his walk so he can do his business. And yeah, it's normally around 9:45 around this time, sometimes earlier, but here in particular it is 9:45. So finally it is 10:20 in the morning, and my son doesn't get out of school till 10:45, but I like to get there early because sometimes they do bring them out a little earlier than normal, and I like to be there. I like to be waiting on him instead of him waiting on me. So I like to get there a little early and just wait there. And then the drive to the school is literally like 2 to 5 minutes in the car, depending if there's like traffic or anything like that. So yeah. So after 20 minutes of waiting for him to get out, he is finally out. And that is basically the best part of my day. I love seeing his face when I pick him up. And this was on a Friday, so it was cheeseburger day. So we did go inside. He does get free lunch for being in preschool. And we did get him, oh no, sorry, it was a chicken patty day. It is chicken patty day, so we get him his lunch. It comes with fruits, sweet potato fries, and some milk. And he does take it home. He doesn't like to sit there. So what we'll do is when we get home, I'll send him to wash his hands, and he'll go wash his hands, and then he will come and sit down and he will start eating his food. And while my son is eating, it is usually 11:10 by now because it does take a while for him to get his lunch. So by the time we do get home and he's eating, it's already 11:10 in the morning. I am here just washing some dishes from the morning, and maybe some that probably stayed out late in the nighttime because my husband does stay up late sometimes, and he will eat something and then he will just bring the plates to the sink and leave them under water and soap. And then I go ahead and just, give them a wash. It is already, at this time, I've already made my husband breakfast, and I was getting myself ready because, as you can see, we made a quick trip to Walmart. We needed to get some groceries, usually for the week or for the month, depending on what we get. We do vary it a lot. And here I'm just showing you guys a quick little clip. It is from a grocery haul that I recorded for you guys that I'm sure most of you have already seen. If you haven't seen it, go make sure you check that out. So it is already 6 o'clock at night by the time we got home. The store is a little far, so it is already dinner time, and the quickest thing for me to make was spaghettis since it was ground beef. We all know that ground beef gets cooked pretty fast. So right now I'm just making spaghettis, chopping up some onions so that I can stir fry them with some tomatoes. I do like to drain out the ground beef, get rid of that fat that that comes out of it. And then while I am stir frying the vegetables, the tomato and onions, I leave the meat draining, and then I go ahead and stir fry them, and then I go ahead and I mix the meat back into the pan. And then these are some of the ingredients that I just use for the spaghettis, how I make them. I use some salt, some garlic. I also use this really good seasoning called adobo. And you can use that on about anything. You can use it on fish, chicken, on your burgers, anything that you love, and it gives it a great taste. And I go ahead and add some of that. And I also use this seasoning called mesquite. I know it's for steaks, but honestly it gives your spaghettis a good taste. You want to go ahead and add about less than a teaspoon, because it will give your food a great flavor. And right now I am just adding the ragu sauce, the chunky mama special one, and that one gives it a great taste. That's the one I like using. I like using all of them, but this time in particular I chose that one, and it does give my spaghettis a great taste. So now I'm just mixing that all in there for you guys so you guys can see it, and then it should be ready within a few minutes. So finally it's been a few minutes and the food is ready, and right now we're just sitting down in the living room. Excuse the mess in the background. We are just sitting right now, gonna watch some Netflix. What we were watching at the time was Punisher, so we were gonna go ahead and finish that while we enjoyed some spaghettis. And now it is after dinner time. It's been about like an hour and a half since dinner time. We did sit down, you know, talk for a while and everything, so I didn't want to bore you guys with that. And what I do after dinner is I go ahead and I put away the leftovers. Didn't want to bore you guys with such extra detail that I do, but I did go ahead and put away the leftovers for like lunch the next day, and I am wiping off the kitchen counters and the stove. I love leaving everything clean. I hate waking up to a dirty kitchen or sticky kitchen, anything. So I love to leave everything clean. I do use a mixture of Fabuloso and Lysol and a pinch of bleach, and I mix that all together into a bottle with some water, and it, you know, it smells great and it leaves everything clean. And I'm just leaving the coffee pot clean for the next day. Also, before we head upstairs for the night, I do check my son's bag. He loves to use his sweater like in the mornings, because usually around here where we live it's a little chilly in the mornings, so he likes to wear it when we walk to school. So I go ahead and fold that for him so that he can grab it and it's, you know, ready for him to put on. I check his folder and I make sure that there's no like paperwork that I might have to sign or anything that might have to stay home. And I leave him his bag ready so that he can find everything for the next day when he gets to school. And I wasn't going to show you guys, you know, our whole, you know, bath time routine. It's basically like in the morning, you know, just change into our pajamas, take a shower, brush our teeth, and get ready for bed. And after we do all of that, he goes and says his goodnight to daddy, his goodnight kiss and his goodnight hug to daddy. And we do sit on my bed for a little while, for about 30 minutes, and sometimes we read 2 books. This time he chose to read a Henry Hugglemonster book, and I do let him read it on his own, and I do help him to practice sounding out words, and if he has any trouble I will help him sound it out, and if it's still too hard for him, then of course I go ahead and I say it for him, and he will go ahead, you know, and sound it out himself or say it himself as well. But yeah, this is all that I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, and I hope to see you guys in my next one. Bye guys!